South African President Jacob Zuma has been forced to resign after a 9-year tenure ridden with scandal. His presidency has been described as the darkest years in South Africa's history since the end of apartheid in 1994. Unemployment has worsened, economic growth has slowed, South Africa's credit rating has fallen to junk status, and corruption has become rampant. But how did Jacob Zuma rise to power? Zuma was brought up by a widowed mother in rural South Africa and had no formal schooling. He joined the armed wing of the African National Congress, Umkhonto weSizwe, to fight apartheid in 1961. 2 years later, he was arrested by the government and spent 10 years imprisoned alongside Nelson Mandela on Robben Island. After his release from prison, Zuma climbed the ranks of the ANC Executive Committee and served under Nelson Mandela when he was elected president, eventually becoming deputy president in 1999. In 2005, it seemed his political career was over. Zuma was fired by then-President Thabo Mbeki after being charged with corruption over a 1999 multi-billion-dollar arms deal. In the same year, he was accused of rape by the daughter of a family friend known as Kwezi, but was acquitted after Kwezi was subject to brutal cross-examination. Zuma used his rape trial to mobilise young supporters who took to the courts to defend him. Despite battling corruption and rape allegations, he was elected ANC president in 2007, and in 2009 was elected as president of South Africa. Zuma had strong support from trade unionists and the Communist Party, who believed that Zuma was the people's president and would redistribute wealth in favour of the poor. But instead of redistribution, his 9-year presidency was driven by allegations of looting and state capture.
The government must end corruption. The government must end state capture.
Zuma is accused of establishing a shadowy security state. He disbanded the Scorpions, an independent, high-profile crime-fighting unit that had raided his home, and appointed a new intelligence minister, director of public prosecutions, and police commissioner. Subsequently, National Prosecuting Authority dropped the corruption charges against him. Zuma reshuffled his cabinet 11 times without explanation. And during his tenure, lucrative state-owned electricity and transport contracts were awarded to the Guptas, a wealthy immigrant family close to the Zumas, causing leading opposition figures to speculate that the executive branch had become captured. A 2014 inquiry reported that Zuma used public funds to expand his personal compound in Nkandla.
Some people who could not pronounce Nkandla, they've now learned Nkandla, Nkandla, Nkandla.
When the Treasury began questioning overspending in state-owned enterprises, Zuma fired 2 finance ministers. The controversies overshadowed the firm action Zuma took on the HIV crisis by rolling out antiretrovirals and giving more South Africans access to social grants. But in 2016, Zuma's house of cards began to tumble. The courts demanded that Zuma pay back the money spent on Nkandla. The ANC grew increasingly unpopular and suffered a major blow in 2016 local elections. And the Supreme Court ruled that 18 counts of corruption from the 1999 arms deal should be reinstated. As opposition voices asking him to step down grew louder, support waned within his own party. Zuma backed his ex-wife, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, to succeed him as ANC president, but the party leadership was lost to Cyril Ramaphosa. Zuma was finally recalled by the ANC, but even at his political end, he remained defiant and unapologetic.
I need to be finished on what I've done. Unfortunately, no one has been able to provide what is it that I've done.
Will Jacob Zuma be held to account for racketeering, money laundering, fraud and corruption?